Monday. How's everyone doing today? Well, let's get into it, guys. Um, Iran. Let me get the button. Just launched missiles into U.S. bases. I repeat myself. Iran just launched missiles into U.S. bases as of recording this right now. That's what's going on in the world. Um, Thoughts on this right now? This, if you guys caught my live earlier in the day, or earlier last night, I was saying that I really hope this doesn't move beyond this, and it's over. We are in it now. We're in it now. So, what does everyone think about this? My initial thought right now, as things are coming out. I mean, I'm live right now, but things are gonna get updated later in the day. If you guys watch this later. Um, Initial thoughts. We're in it now. Yeah, we have no choice. We're gonna be in this for a while now. It is what it is. Um, yeah, I was saying last night. I really hope we could just, set sail into the sunset after the bombs. I mean, Israel said that they could do the rest of this war themselves, and they just needed us to bomb, the facility, and we could just move on, right? Just like they're like, oh, you could just hit it real quick and leave, one night stand. And I was saying last night that when the news came out that Trump wants regime change, or at least he's floating the idea. That those are the headlines that were going on last night. Regime change, regime change. When I saw that, I knew already that we're gonna be in this for a long time. There's no way you could do a quick regime change. That takes months, years, planning. A lot of effort goes into regime change. So it's going, and the fact that they attacked, they're attacking U.S. bases this morning. You know, it's gonna be a long process at this point now. We're gonna be in it. It feels like I saw this great meme, or not really a meme. I saw this great clip this morning. It was Back to the Future. If you're a kid out there and you've never seen kids these days have not even seen Back to the Future, and I feel like that was such a big part of my childhood because that's the movie where you learn about time travel for the first time, right? And so I was showing the my kid Back to the Future, and they're like, "What is this?" Well, my kid was just like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Back to the Future. It's a classic." Anyways, there's a scene on Back to the Future where Marty is like watching the television set, and he's like, "Oh, I've seen this one. It's a classic." And then the kids are like, "What are you talking about? We've seen this. I mean, this just came out." And he's like, "Oh yeah, these kids haven't seen this yet." And if you're in my age group, you've seen this before. Regime change. We're getting it. We're in it now. Like I said, um, Iran just launched attacks into U.S. bases. There's no way that you let that slide. I mean, both sides. Imagine. Okay, here's the part that was really funny about this whole ordeal, right? We bombed them, right? And then we're like, hey, it's time for peace. It's time to negotiate. It's time for peace. When in history, okay, that has never happened. I don't know if you guys follow history at all. In history, it's never happened before where you bomb someone or you like attack and they just that's like stuff in movies that happens in movies that never happens in real life where you like bomb someone or you like humiliate them with an attack, a surprise attack like that, and they're just like, I give up. That's what happens when you watch too many movies. It never happens in real life. In real life, there's egos involved. There's like all kinds of stuff that doesn't get portrayed very well in movies. The into the mindset because in movies they have to keep the story going and they have to move the plot. But in real life, what usually happens is that uh, people dig in. you know that's literally what happens. I mean, this morning. Okay, the other thing I knew that the Iran was gonna attack. This morning, the reports came out that the Ayatollah, the the leader of Iran, the guy that's in the bunker, hiding in the bunker somewhere, he said that he is announcing his successors. He's got like a list of three guys or something, clergymen, whatever they're called. He announced successors. Okay, if you saw the headline this morning, it said that the Ayatollah, or whatever he's called in Iran, the leader, the bunker guy, announced successors. You know what that means? It means he's ready to bang. He's ready to go down with the ship. You don't announce successors um, if you're planning to negotiate. You know what I mean? You don't announce successors if um, you're planning to surrender. You announce successors if you know things can go bad. And once he launches this attack, you know what's gonna happen next. We're gonna retaliate. You know? we have you think uh they you think that once they launch their attack, the America's just gonna be like, oh man, sorry, no, we're gonna launch our attack next, and hey, who knows? We're gonna take them out. We take them out. They have their successor, and it's just gonna keep on going now. It's gonna keep on going. Hate breeds hate. You know, it's this is gonna be multi-year, multi-year thing. Um, you can't help but just like sit back and embrace for it. I know, and again, if you've lived through it, you've seen this before. Oh, you know what I saw a clip of? Not a clip, but like I saw the other day. It was they were talking about we've seen this before, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, right? Um, I saw that someone made a clip or a post about that, right? We've seen this before, blah blah, and then someone puts in a comment, but there's no weapons of mass destruction. Looking at the same thing, like, and then people in the comments lit that guy on fire. Because I mean, I was tempted to even say something, and I never write into the comments of other people's stuff because I find it like you're just gonna, again, you're gonna keep on going. But he literally in the comments, and this guy was so sure of himself. You know how people are when they write in the comments; they're like so sure about their position, right? He's like, "Oh, it's not the same. There's no weapons of mass destruction," and everyone was like, "Do you not understand what a nuclear bomb is? You know, you do you not understand a nuclear bomb is a weapon of mass destruction, and we're in it again. It's literally it feels like the exact same thing. And I was saying that what's very fun is the regime change sparked the idea to me that just like Afghanistan or Iraq or whatever, right? You know who one of the main beneficiaries are were? Oh my god, I can't even think straight right now. Do you know who the main beneficiary were of the whole, you know, Afghanistan Iraq thing? You know who benefited the most? KFC did. KFC, McDonald's, Starbucks. That's literally what happened over there, where we came in, we did a regime change, and then we're like, you know what would really help you guys out? A Starbucks. And they opened a whole bunch of Starbucks over there and KFCs and whatnot. And last night, I typed it in, right? Because I was like so curious about Iran. I was like, does Iran have a Starbucks? No, they don't. Does Iran have a KFC? No, they do not. Do they have a McDonald's? No, they do not. You know what they need? A McDonald's, a KFC, a Starbucks. Because right now, Starbucks is running out of places to build Starbucks. They're building Starbucks on top of Starbucks, underneath Starbucks, and they need more places to put Starbucks, or else you know, who 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 else? They gotta get more customers. Starbucks is running out of customers. They need Iran to have customers, you know. So Iran does not have a Starbucks. They need a Starbucks. So let's get in there and give them a Starbucks. That's what the people want. They want the Starbucks. Regime change means a Starbucks, a KFC. I was reading about it last night. They tried to open a KFC in Iran. It was called KFC Halal or something like that, and it I believe it flopped or something like that. But you know, second time's the charm. Gotta try again. Gotta try again. All right, come with me, guys. I gotta. My thing's finished cutting. I got still cutting stuff. But yeah, Iran. They need a Starbucks. They need a KFC. We gotta give the people what they want. They want a Starbucks. They they don't need a Starbucks. They want the Starbucks. Gotta give them what they want. And then I saw this thing. They said that China is very very upset because they get most of their oil from Iran, and I believe they're shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. You know what's also very cool, interesting about all these conflicts is like people learn so much about other countries through these things. Like before this, be honest with yourself. Did you even really knew? Did you know what the Strait of Hormuz was? All of a sudden, everyone's an expert on the Strait of Hormuz. I think that part is actually very funny. It's like all of a sudden, everyone's an expert on all kinds of random things, and we're now all experts on the Strait of Hormuz. And if you're not an expert on the Strait of Hormuz, where have you been? Basically, it is the main. I'm sorry, the main like shipping route for oil from the Middle East into the most of the parts of the world. So, and China is a big customer there, and they're like, "What the hell? We didn't do anything." Um, and apparently, what everyone's afraid of World War III now is because I guess we attacked them without. I'm pretty sure they did some mental calculation on this. That everyone's just hoping that China and Russia or whoever, they're just gonna like oh, we don't want a piece of that. But apparently they have a defense pact. If one of them gets attacked, they all have to help each other, and we'll see if that means anything, because we're definitely in it now, and I mean, in the end of the day, I mean, Russia. I feel like Russia would be a little bit excited. They get to sell more arms. That's that's the fun part about the war. You get to sell bullets and missiles and whatnot. That's the fun part. So we'll see if they want to keep, I don't know. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on in the world right now. I would love to talk about more fun things, but I mean, this is really what it is. Is I'm working and I'm just like spitballing what's on my mind. And I saw the other thing I saw this morning was Putin was basically saying like, "Hey, we're not giving up any of this territory that we give. You know what? Actually, um, actually, it's all ours. You know what I mean? Ukraine, you belong with us. Come back to the motherland, and we can work it out." And he was like, "We're out. If I can't, you know, it's almost like the jealous boyfriend thing, where they're like, if I can't have you, nobody can have you. Um, mentality where he's like, if this keeps on going, I'm just gonna nuke it." And I was thinking to myself like this morning, I was like, if Putin nukes Ukraine, like then it becomes like like it becomes useless, a useless territory for a very long time. But I guess they have experience with that, dealing with that with Chernobyl, like just a complete black spot in a complete black spot in their territories. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. But I mean I feel like how we used to talk about the Illuminati more. I feel like we gotta get back to that, because sometimes I feel like we get in these things, and I like to think to myself like who actually wins in these scenarios. Um, and the main winner that I see is, of course, Israel wins, because they get they've been wanting this for like 30 plus years now. They win because we get to use our munitions and our people and our time and just everything on this. What they I'm so mad because they're like, we can do it. We can do it, you know. And now we're over there, and this is an escalate. All right, that part is done. Sorry, one last thing. I probably have to leave 2 more times before I start cutting. Oh, actually, I should start heating up the machine before. Yeah, start heating up the machine. Okay, plugged in, guys. Heating up, plugged in. All right. Sorry, you're gonna walk with me for a little bit. Still cutting out all the designs before I can start making stuff. So we are in it. What else is going on? Let's talk about something else for a little bit. Oh, okay. This is a fun. I mean, I don't know. This is how relatable this is to y'all, but to the parents out there, I'm just gonna talk about some parenting real quick. I've noticed that a lot of kids are in a whole lot of classes for all kinds of random things, and I know what it is when you talk about this classes for the kids, right? There's like swim lessons and tennis and basketball and all kinds of fun stuff right now. And because I just got back over the weekend, we went to a barbecue, and the parents were just talking about like all the different classes they have their kid in. Oops. Pause. Alright, cancel job. they're talking about all the different classes they have their kid in, right? And keep in mind, my kid's in a whole bunch of classes too. That's not what I'm thinking about. What I'm thinking about is I see their kid, right? And they're in all these classes. And not just that kid. Lots of kids are like this. I'll give you this small recommendation though. Just for at least for just for swimming, I guess we are in. It's summertime, right? I mean, a lot swim lessons are real during this time. And I'll say this: if you're gonna do the swim lessons, just a little tidbit. When they're first starting off, the group classes are great. They have all. I don't know which part of the world you're in or which part of the United States you're in, but I'm pretty sure they have them everywhere. The group swim classes for the kids is great when they're starting off, but then once they get older, I recommend you take them out of the group classes and start if you want because like the group swim classes are great if you want your kid to learn not to drown. That's basically what they're good for. But then some parents have their kids in the swim classes that keep going to learn all the different techniques and whatnot. But as the kids get older, the group classes they don't learn much out of it because every kid advances at different rates, and then in the group classes your kid gets held back by the weakest swimmer. So if let's say you've been doing it for a long time, and if you actually calculate the time that they actually spend teaching your kid in these group swim classes, it's like 15 minutes out of like the 30 minutes or the 45 minutes of the swim class. That's how much time, if you actually calculate how much, and the rest of the time your kid's just in the pool, just standing around, you know? So if your kid has been doing the swim classes for a while, and they know how to survive swim, good. That should be enough. And then if you want them to learn all the different like swim techniques and whatnot, you should do the semi-private smaller classes. Just a little tidbit out there. And then we're gonna let's get back into it. I mean, what do you guys think about this entanglement we're into right now? Because I 100% think that we rushed into this without a real plan. That's just my initial assessment of what is going on here. I am pretty certain that they thought that they were just gonna hit it and quit it, and then, because even everyone, I mean, this morning when you saw news that the leader guy of Iran was looking for basically putting out his successors, you already know. You knew it. At least I knew it already that we're gonna be in this for a while because he's planning to not survive anymore. you know, once because why would he be looking for successors or at least announcing successors if he was planning to negotiate? I mean, at the same time, it's impossible to negotiate with anybody right now on these things because it's like we literally if negotiating peace was an option, you wouldn't be taking out the person you've been talking to. We took out like all the negotiators. It's like, let's negotiate peace. They're like, great, let's do that. And then you're like, all right, come here and negotiate. And you're like, pew pew pew. Insane zones. How do you negotiate when they're just taking you out? And then And then you're like, how do you trust any of these negotiations when they negotiated this before, and then you broke it, and then you're like, negotiate with us or else, you know, All right, all right, all right. Yeah, but anyways, as I'm talking right now, missiles are flying into U.S. Installments over the Middle East, and if you're watching this later, um, who knows what updates are coming out? But literally, as I'm talking right now, missiles are flying in, and yeah, we're in it. We're in it. Unless you guys, I mean, we could talk about more fun things right now. What else is going on in the world? Let's just divert real quick. Oh, you know what I've been watching? I've been watching Fubar on Netflix. It's the Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of spy show. I like it. I like that show a lot actually, cause I True Lies, when I was a kid, was one of my favorite Arnold movies, because it had to me it had a little bit of everything. It was funny, it had action, it had hottie bodies, it just had so many cool things. Um, and for them to he's basically Fubar is just basically True Lies, but TV show version, you know? So that's one of my that's what I'm really liking right now. That's fun. Oh, and what did we watch last night? The other day we watched the new Mission Impossible. Have you guys? You know what's hard about the new Mission Impossible for me though, is I skipped one and I just forgot. There's so many Mission Impossibles and I skipped one, and me and the wife didn't realize we skipped one. So we're watching the newest Mission Impossible. We're like, oh my gosh, we skipped one. None of the story. I mean, the story makes sense, but I'm like, oh, there's a lot of information I'm missing here. So, I mean, can you believe this? It's been 35 years, around 35 years since the very first Mission Impossible. Insane. Insane. I can't believe that a whole generation of people um, witnessed Tom Cruise play Ethan Hunt forever, ever. That's crazy. I can't believe it. And here's a fun thing to do though if you have time. I mean, it's kind of fun. Is to actually watch the original Mission Impossible show, the show. It it's actually really good for from its time period. I believe it was made in like the '60s or whatever. Oh, I forgot how we got into this, but a while back, me and the wife we went through a marathon of watching the old original Mission Impossible show. And the fun part about watching the old Mission Impossible show is that the main because here's the thing, right? I'm pretty sure everyone watched the original Mission Impossible, right? The first movie. And this is a detail that gets overlooked by a lot of people because not that many people of the younger generation watched the show. The main bad guy in, I mean, you can't spoil a movie that's 35 years old. Okay, Jim, the main bad guy in the first Mission Impossible movie, he's the main guy in the Mission Impossible show. So it's very, I think it's very cool that they kind of tied him back into the show, and if you watch the show, watch the first movie when you were a kid, you kind of miss this detail, what the story, what the story of what the first Mission Impossible is really about. It's about Jim, the guy from the very first the TV show Mission Impossible, performing all these Mission Impossibles, saving the world a gajillion times, saving America a gajillion times, and he's old now, and all he gets for all his work for saving the country, saving the world a billion times, is the cliche retirement gold watch. They got me a watch. You guys should be kissing my feet right now. You're you're standing and living because I saved your butt. And he basically is looking for that last payday, hurrah, uh, because he's old now and he just feels unappreciated. That's what the first Mission Impossible was about. I just remember because when you're a kid, I didn't know any of the context of him being in all the watching all the old Mission Impossibles, and that's him, you know. So that was really cool. That's just the cool thing to know if you never thought into it at all, you know. that they I believe they even used the original actor too that was in the first Mission Impossibles. Kind of cool, huh? The Mission Impossible show. Kind of cool. Alright, getting this together. Waiting for the machine to heat up. What else is going on in the world right now? What else do you guys want to talk about? Boop. I mean, later, what I really want to look into is I really want to look into how profitable are these KFCs and whatnot in the other countries. Not in the other countries, in the Middle East, in Afghanistan. I really want to see those sales numbers. I mean, someone. All right, this is the last time you guys got on with me. Someone over there must have done some sort of research to figure out that you open this KFC and it generates this kind of money. Because that's what's gonna happen, right? At some point, they'll probably get the regime change together, and then maybe the sanctions get released or not. That part we don't know. But a KFC is coming. A Starbucks is coming. Like, sorry, you get a Starbucks now. How profitable is the Starbucks that that you got to do all this just to open a Starbucks? That's crazy. Okay. That is crazy. Alright, this is good. Oh, you know what else is going on that's also very interesting to me? I kind of touched on it before. I don't know, is it because I clicked on one story or whatever? But you know what my feed has been what's been popping up a lot on my news feed are high school teachers or not even high school teachers, just like school admin people doing stuff with high schoolers, like girls onto boys, and yeah, that's there's like I think I saw like 4 or 5 of them already. Different stories of different people that this is happening to. It's insane. I saw one. It was like um, teacher sends photos to 14-year-old, and it was like tutor. That's right. Oh yeah. Tutor gets with student here and there. I'm like, this is crazy. The rate that this is happening at is wild. you know? Sorry, this one's dirty. Wow, like what is in the water right now that I'm seeing so many of these stories. Literally there was like I think like two or three of them that happened already. like different ones. Within the last like 2 or 3 let's see 2 or 3 days or so. I'm like, that's crazy. Crazy. Alright. We're making aprons and talking about the Iran situation. the other thing that is terrible with this whole situation is that oh, I gotta repress this. The other thing that's terrible about this whole situation is that it's only going to breed hate. And I've talked about this a gajillion times, where hurt people, it's kind of like the hurt people thing, where this one's not looking good. We gotta remove. The minute you start bombing them, and then they bomb us, and then we're gonna bomb them some more, right? There's gonna be a whole generations that grow up under these conditions, right? What do you think is gonna happen down the road? You're gonna make another Osama, you know, that kind of scenario is just gonna pop up again. And maybe 20, 30 years from now, once these kids grow up in this environment, what do you think they're gonna do? You know? That's something that I don't know that people think about as all, but I think about this a lot. The circle of pain. In a way, that's why the whole Israel situation will never get solved. The circle of pain, is the thing, and I think about that a lot because just think about the Ghazians, right? They're growing up, like the kids there, they're growing up under this oppressed, like food starved situation, and they're like, who's doing this to you guys? Those guys over there are doing this. And then those kids grow up, they grow up hate in their hearts for this whole situation, and then when they get old enough, what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna remember all of this, right? In a way, I always wonder, how Israel is like getting in there and they're like bombing the Jesus out of them, right? Of the kids and whatnot. I wonder if this is actually a long term plan to just get rid of all of them, so no one will come back later. Kind of like the Kill Bill mentality of the first one, where she takes out the mom in front of the kid, and then she tells her, if you still feel a certain way about this down the road, come find me and we'll sort it out. It's got that vibe to me with the kids, because that's really what I think about a lot. I'm like, down the road, the kids, let's say the Ghazian kids, right? they remember would be growing up, living in these conditions, getting battered, right? And they're gonna grow up, and then it just takes one or two. They goes, I want to do something, and this is how like the Iron Man story. You know, like this is how villains get made. They grow up in like Bane or whatever from Batman. Like they grow up in these scenarios, and like one of them is to get radicalized, and they're just like, I'm gonna get them back in 30 years from now. I'm gonna get them back, and then they do something down the road. Someone else does. You know, like they cause someone pain. 30 years from then, that kid grows up from there, and then they do something, and it just keeps on going and going. You know, so in a way, I can see Israel's game plan here, and they just take them all out, and then you don't have to deal with that in 30 years. And at least the chances, you lower the chances. Just take out all the hospitals and all the kids. Just lower the chances. All right. See what that's going on? We're making onesies for the kids, y'all. For the kids. Making onesies. We're making onesies. Ooh. All right. That's enough. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys.